Hello, people. Okay, I am going to do a bit of work. Well, what I call work. You probably call playing around, whatever. So I'm with this company now, and what we do is we share a link, and people join the company through the link, and then they become wealthier, healthier, and wiser. It's not AI, it has nothing to do with any of the fake stuff, nothing like that. It's full on truth and real people with real results. Not pretend anything, um, nothing like that, nothing at all. Unfortunately, there will be commercials in it because my thing has just run out unexpectedly and I'm between checks at the moment, so don't base any of this off my experience, right? Because my experience is different to other people. You can type the right letter, will you? So we'll start with Newcom. I saw one the other day. It was really good. Newcom doesn't do music. It's not music at all. It does have music in the thing, but it's not music. It's not about music at all. So, yeah. What it's about is helping people. The music is just there for your brain to go, oh, I like that. That's all. That's the only reason it's there.
Cool. Are you aware that 20 minutes of your product is equivalent to 2 hours of restorative sleep? And I said, no. In fact, I don't even know what you're talking about. And he said, well, in sleep, Jim, we go through a 100-minute cycle, a 90-minute cycle, a 90-minute cycle, and then we wake up. But the restorative aspect of the sleep is in this sweet spot, 4 hertz to 7 hertz, called theta. And what your technology is doing is you're taking me there and you're holding me there. So for every 20 minutes I'm in there, it's equivalent to 2 hours of restorative sleep. Not sleep, Jim, not 2 hours of the entire arc of sleep. The good part. So to a pilot who is fatigued, to a pilot, I travel a lot, you travel a lot. So what we do is we give them the gift of 2 hours of restorative sleep in 20 minutes, all the time, anytime. Cool. Are you aware that 20 minutes of your product is
So you go below and we don't do isochronic waveform. We don't do all this stuff. But this is what I saw this morning or yesterday. Where is it? That's all to do with the app. The university. Yes, we have a university. And it's mega. So just ignore that noise in the background. It's my neighbor's crappy music. I'm not sure which one it was. Let's start from the top because I don't know which one it actually is. That is definitely not it because that is not anything to do with us.
If you can only line is on fire. Here are 3 things that will rewire that. Number 1, you need to understand that you don't have.
Skip commercials.
Since I've been using Newcom, I've just noticed I'm happier. I'm able to deal with things a lot better. You know, we can't control what goes on, what people do, what other people do, but the things that we can control is our reactions to things. So when we can optimize and get control of that inner world, it really affects the outer world. So it's a huge game changer. I use Ignite when I'm running, when I'm doing Pilates, when I need to focus, like doing taxes. You don't want to do things things that you procrastinate over that you just don't want to do. I use Ignite. It focuses me, it gets that shit done. I feel recharged. I feel just like healthier in a way. And I live a really healthy lifestyle. But I guess what I'm striving for as a woman is more energy. You know, because our night shift starts as mommies. And, you know, I can caffeine it up. I can go have my, you know, second latte. I can drink green tea all day long. And, you know, there's a handful of other less healthy options out there for a lot of people. I'm really striving like about what I put into my body and just mindful wellness. So if I can carve out 20 minutes, and let me just give them some tough love. Like if I don't have 20 minutes for myself, I'm in trouble. So I'm worthy of that. And I do it when I need it. You know, for me, it's like feel good. I'm looking for the feel good. The science, we can all get buried in that. It's overwhelming. Like woman to woman, I'm looking for the feel good. I'm looking for the recharge. I'm looking for the power as a woman. I need a lot of power because I have a lot to do. And I have a lot of people counting on me as a woman, as a mother, as a boss. So it's just a moment. It's just a moment of feel good and recovery. I had 20 minutes of absolute escapism, peace.
I started work with Newcom back in March of 2020. How I got exposed to them, I kind of had this long journey with trying to recover and figure out my whole sleep situation. It was never diagnosed as insomnia, but from what I could recall, from starting at about 13, 14 years old, I was waking up about 12 times a night, was as much as I could recall. And you can imagine when you're in your teens and your early 20s, that doesn't really matter too much. You can function, but as I got older, waking up that much was really starting to take a toll on my health. It was starting to take a toll on my focus, my ability to function. I just kind of accepted that fate, as morbid as that sounds. And so I went to this personal growth event. It was a Tony Robbins event. And by about day 4, I was completely toast. I had no energy left. I was completely exhausted. And as I was walking back into the auditorium, I saw this sign that said, get 2 hours of sleep in 20 minutes. For me, I was like, okay, if that's even half true, maybe this will be the thing. But I really didn't have a lot of optimism. I was just hoping it would work. And so I walked up to the booth. They set me up with the headphones and they put the disc on my wrist and put on the eye mask. And the way I can describe what it felt like and what I went through, it was almost like with all that exhaustion and all that stress and everything, it was almost like there was a tornado going on in my head. It was like, if you can imagine just stress, anxiety, frustration, all these things just constantly swirling and swirling. And as soon as the music came on, it was almost like someone just stopped the tornado. And it was just this massive amount of calm that I had. And it was like my brain said, thank you. And I just knocked out. I was completely gone. I think I was snoring in like 5 or 6 minutes. I can laugh with people. I don't get irritated. I don't get frustrated. Stuff that used to really get under my skin, it would cause me to snap and be really angry at anybody. My fiance, people I really cared about, people I didn't want to hurt, people I didn't want to be mean to. That doesn't happen anymore like it used to. I can just actually be there with them and enjoy that time. You know, I tell people all the time that, like, for me at least, using Newcom, it was a complete night and day difference. But for me, it actually was. It was something where life was quite literally one way. Before I was using Newcom, I was completely locked in a life that I don't think anybody would want to be. It was a purgatory of just stress and exhaustion. But then afterward, it's like, now it's like, holy shit, I can actually like breathe, I can see, I can do what I want to do with my life. And the way that I use Newcom is really, I try to use it as often as I can. The most common time that I'll use a really quick break in the middle of the day if I can get it. Because when you're in that middle of the day and your brain is going and you're at that highest level where you're super alert, you're super stressed, I find it incredibly effective to be able to actually take a minute and be able to reset yourself in the middle of the day.
Smita, we're restructuring. Your role is being eliminated.
When?
End of month.
Mom, your access card. Take care, Mom. It was always good to see you. Lost auntie? Reception's that way.
So, Smita ji, 22 years at company. That's a lot of one company.
I helped build that department from 4 people to 40.
Sure. It's just we move fast here. Very AI first, very young team. Do you think you keep up culturally?
I use ChatGPT, and I'm very strong in Excel, PowerPoint, reporting.
No offense, but my mom still calls me to fix her email. Just so you know, we have 340 applications for this role. Every candidate uses ChatGPT. We'll be in touch.
How many now?
26. Same.
Last year.
What changed?
I stopped thinking the market owed me something because of my experience. Experience is the foundation. But the house is built with new materials.
I don't understand half the tools they're asking about.
Neither did I.
Cursive, AI certificate program.
For me, I put out fires all day, running a beverage company, one of the more difficult industries to be in. And I'll find myself, it'll be 2 p.m., just got off a bunch of calls, and the only thing I want to do is just stop and clear my head, and there is no better way to do that than a 20-minute Newcom session. It really allows you to reset if you have a problem, and usually when you get a problem, your mind reacts to this problem, right? It's like, what do I gotta do? How do I gotta fix it? Whose fault is it? And that's really not a way to get to a resolution of a problem. The best way to get to a resolution of the problem is having a clear head, having a clear mindset, and looking at it from all angles. And Newcom does such an incredible job of really just allowing you to stop, step back, look at it from a macro scale, I like to say, and go at the problem with the best foot forward.
It's so easy, so to say. So many of my students, yeah, it's convenient. So many of my students and friends have asked me what I do to heal, to feel good, to move through this disease. And the first and usually the only thing I tell them is Newcom, because it is accessible, it's affordable, it's something that everyone can do. I've told a friend who has trouble meditating, I'm like, listen, put it next to your nightstand. The only thing you have to do in the morning is roll over and pick it up and put headphones on. Just listen to some music for 20 minutes and boom, there, you meditated, you healed for the day. And often it inspires you to do more. You know, you have these revelations and these pivot points within your 20 minutes that you wake up and you're like, oh wow, yeah, oh my God,
totally.
I want to do this with my day. I can do this. I should contact this person or sit with this energy that came up internally. And if not, no pressure. You did it. Boom, check. Your 20 minutes of meditation is done for the day. All you need to do is roll over, put the headphones on your head, the patch on your wrist, and listen to lovely sounds for 20 minutes. That's it.
An incredible tool for traveling. That's actually pre-COVID. I would be traveling probably twice a month on planes, going from New York to LA as we were working on the expansion of the business, and it is the only thing I do on a flight. I actually, one of my favorite flights, which people are like, how is that your favorite flight? A red eye from LA back to New York. But if you Newcom during that flight, you drop in and you get all the healing, all the recovery, all the benefits, and don't even have to worry. What is Ignite? It sounds like it would be something that jacks you up, and that's exactly what it does. When I listen to Ignite, when I know I'm about to walk into a big investor meeting and have to pitch, and it really just gets you in that centered flow state where you feel like the world is your oyster and you're on the outside and just in full control.
Watch what magnesium does to your bowels.
If you have to more than tap, here's why.
The Mayo
You're giving them a lifelong tool that's going to be able to really help them find the best version of themselves every day.
Have you ever seen a product that transforms any ordinary space into a dreamy underwater world in just 1 second? Meet the Kamau Immersive Ocean Projector, the mood light that's taking the market by storm. Over 100,000 sold and already the #1 bestseller online. Just plug in the USB
and evening for sure, and afternoon because of the West Coast. So thank you for joining, everybody. This is the New Calm Town Hall, and tonight we're featuring one of our favorite people, a collaborator, a guest, an incredible human being, and literally a man who can help change your life by changing your voice, your breath, your confidence, your ability to communicate who you want to be, when you want to be, how you want to be, as opposed to listening to the inner voice, which rarely or sometimes doesn't have nice things to say about you. Let's change that narrative and get our external voice. So Roger Love, thank you for being here with us. And tonight's topic is our new collaboration, Rockstar Mindset. 16 minutes and 31 seconds of amazing collaboration designed to elevate all humans. Welcome, Roger.
Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure to stand side by side.
This is true, and it is a pleasure. So Roger, Rockstar Mindset. Obviously it makes sense. People understand rock stars. Many people aspire to be them. They certainly understand the idea that they've created in their mind's eye what that should be. But why don't you walk us back a little bit and explain to our audience, some who may not be aware of your greatness and your history, but how did you become the person who helps elevate the Rockstar Mindset, and who are the people you worked with to get to this place? Because you know a lot. You're like a resident expert in Rockstar Mindset. How did you get here?
When I was 16 and a half years old, I was sort of thrown into working with some of the biggest singers in the world. My first day as a voice coach, 16 and a half years old, I taught Brian Wilson, Luther Vandross, so many different singers. And having that opportunity at a young age, me being so young and working with their voices, of course I was learning. There was so much to learn. I was learning to be a good voice coach, and I was learning from my students. They say a great teacher learns the most from his teachers and even more from students. So I've had a lifetime of working with the most famous voices, many rock stars. And what I've learned is, and how I've managed to use those skills for our collaboration, is I realized early on that those rock stars, though they were famous, though they might have great artwork and great car collections, they were dealing with the same stress, the same anxiety, and the same emotional problems that everyone else was dealing with. So in the moment, and in the moments before, stepping on stage for Bon Jovi or Paul Simon or any of the stars that I've worked with, in those moments before getting on stage, they are sweating. Their pulse is racing. They're thinking, why do I do this? Why did I pick this job? That there's so much stress and anxiety in getting to the stage and then performing for millions of people, that I've sort of made it a study over the years to try to take everything that I learned by helping them through those experiences, those stressful situations, and how I could help anyone get through the stressful, the anxious moments, the moments where they had to shine in their own lives. And so Rockstar Mindset is really a collaboration of you and I and everything that I've learned by helping get those people on stage.
It's amazing. And it's really fun. I mean, it's a fun life you built for yourself, and it's a really cool craft that you've established excellence in. What do you want our New Calm Tribe? What's your aspiration for what people can get out of Rockstar Mindset? What do you want from us?
I want them to realize that getting to the stage fright is harder than being in the spotlight or being on stage and having stage fright. Let's say you have a big speech coming up. Let's say you're going to speak for your teams, for your group. You're presenting an idea at work. You're deciding you're going to ask the person you've been loving for a long time to marry you, whatever the important conversation is. You're so worried about what's going to happen before you get there that you're creating all of this anxiety before you're even in the moment to be responsible for opening up your mouth and asking them to marry you or presenting your idea. So I separate getting to the stage fright from stage fright. And interestingly enough, when you actually start your presentation, your song, your speech, your conversation, fear dissipates 90-something% within seconds. So it's about managing stress in the preparation before you have to present yourself, your idea to other people. So what Rockstar Mindset does is it helps you through those moments right before you have to be in the spotlight and focuses your mind, your brain, and your inner voice so that you're immediately in minutes in a place where then you can be the best of you, the most relaxed of you, the most confident of you. That's what it does.
Thank you, because that's a pretty amazing thing for you to provide people. You know, it's funny how we can be our own worst enemy. We create a lot of obstacles for our own success inside our head, inside between our ears. We create a lot of obstruction, and it is also part of life where you have pent-up frustration or pent-up anxiety, and it's like a valve. But once you vocalize, it all just kind of expresses outward.
People think that celebrities who are in the spotlight have some magic technique for.
My wife called me lazy because I never do the things I do. I thought it was depression. We were both wrong. Kitchen light.
Still moving past fear or eliminating fear. They don't. They realize in the moment that they can still present the best of themselves while they're maintaining that fear. They realize that their passion is more important than the fear. So it's not that fear dissipates, it's that fear is compartmentalized and that you learn to do that in your brain. So if you can put fear in the corner where it's not going to bother you or the situation you're in, and then move forward with passion, with authenticity, with love, with kindness, with grace, with a clear focus, the fear's still there, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't get in the way of you and your presentation of you.
So you've been at this for a while, a couple weeks or a minute, they say. And one thing I really admire about you, Roger, is you're not just an incredible voice coach. You're really intellectually curious and intellectually capable. You're always learning. You're seeing things, whether it's social psychology. Walk us through some of the things that you witnessed as a whole for rock stars that we may not be aware of. Besides one you just said was, rock stars, I think historically you hear of some rock stars just be consumed with fear. What are some of the things that have surprised you or some things you're like, wow, that's really cool, and never thought about that because I'm not a rock star? Share some of the insights that you've seen just as an observational learning animal that you are.
What's surprising to me, but not so much anymore, but I'll share it, is that how fast it is to change. When Joaquin Phoenix and Reese Witherspoon came to me, and they were doing a little film called Walk the Line, and he had to sound like Johnny Cash, and she had to sound not like June Carter Cash, but a version of that style. And he started really not having a history of singing. I think maybe once or twice in his life he sang Happy Birthday, but I don't think the performance was so good that they actually gave him cake. So that would count as not really being a singer. And Reese had sung a little bit in high school, but all the singing she did was all high and beautiful. Nothing in the range that the character would sing in. So you'd think it would take a lifetime to sound like Johnny Cash. But I only had about 4 weeks for both of them to turn them from really non-singers to singers. That's a miracle. And it is witness to the fact that you can make incredible changes in short periods of time. She won the Academy Award for it. He won plenty of other awards. When I did the same thing with Bradley Cooper, he said to me, Roger, I'm going to direct, co-write, and star in a little movie called A Star is Born. I don't sing, Roger, but my co-star happens to be quite a good singer. Maybe you've heard of her. Gaga. Lady Gaga. And to make things harder on us, Roger, because now we're a team, we're going to do all of the singing live. We're not going to be in a recording studio where, oops, fix that. We're going to sing it live. The band's going to play. I'm going to play the guitar. And we're going to sing live. And that's what goes in the movie. No fixing it all up. No auto-tune. No correcting mistakes. Can you do that, Rod? I'm like, absolutely, I can do that. And we both had to get in the mindset of making that happen. And when you watch that film, and he opens his mouth, and he sings, tell me something, girl. First line, you're like, oh my Lord. He's a singer, and everybody wanted to kiss him on the mouth. One line. So stop thinking you're not confident enough, special enough. You haven't been able to overcome your stage fright enough to realize that transformation is almost immediate once you have the right mindset and a little bit of the right technique.
Dick, first of all, it's amazing the transformation that you've helped create in this short amount of time. Now, what would you think that a singer who has a level of specificity, a little inner voice, and they know music, and they know melody, and know tone and pitch and frequency, do you think maybe an artist who maybe an actor wants to sing is less encumbered because they don't know the obstacles to put in front of their way.
No, I don't. I don't think that at all. And the public thinks that just because you're a good actor, maybe you think, and maybe you can dance. But that's not the case. Singing and speaking in performance has similarities and also differences. So just being able to act doesn't mean you could sing. Just because you're used to lights flashing in your face and a microphone somewhere near you doesn't mean you could sing. It's all new skill sets are compounded. Each skill set is learned. So what makes me a great teacher is I'm very good at mindset. I've kept non-singers in singing roles in films, and me just keeping them in because they believed that I would make them sound great was just as valuable as me teaching them how to sing and eventually sounding great. So we all have things that we're good. I'm a really good voice coach. I'm a terrible ice skater, embarrassingly so. So if I wanted to be an ice skater, I would have to focus on it. I'd have to get in the mindset of ice skating. I'm going to do it because I'm going to practice. Anyways, it's just that talent isn't compounded. Everything is a new skill set. So I'm always trying to help people in the fastest way possible achieve new things, and that's what's exciting. I do transformations, and I don't believe in taking months or years to make transformations. It's like, what can I say right now to change the way you're thinking and change the way you sound? I live in those moments.
So, Reese Witherspoon and Joaquin Phoenix, who walked the line, and Bradley Cooper as a star was born. What are some other amazing feats of magnificence that you've achieved? Those are incredible in their short time frames in your career. What are some other ones you're like, wow, that was a really good one. Didn't think we were going to pull it off.
Paul Simon came to me.
Honey, the boat looks amazing. Are you excited about our vacation?
Honestly, I want some guys in the
87 years old, wanting to overcome the fact that he had lost hearing in one ear, was hard of hearing next year, and that he hadn't sung a long time. Hearing was more difficult to sing, but also lack of singing for a long time made more difficult to sing. So I helped Paul Simon rebuild his voice, and then he did a 58-city tour to a standing ovation every night and got rave reviews on his voice, and then took a little time off, and then is on a world tour right now, and just released a Disney Hulu film of the concert that I helped him get his voice ready for. And rave reviews. So at 84 years old, he sounds amazing, and he's enjoying singing again. I spent the last 9 months getting Bon Jovi ready to do 9 sold-out nights at Madison Square Garden, which we finished last week, and now we're going to England and Dublin and Ireland. I love helping people build or rebuild their voices, regardless of age, regardless of time away from the microphone. Those are a couple of new things that I'm very excited about. Bon Jovi and Paul Simon.
Those are amazing. How much inertia do you think is involved in someone's fear getting in their way, their mindset versus the capacity and capability of their physiology to do the job? How you have to overcome insecurity, self-doubt, confusion with Paul and John Bon Jovi because they're coming from places where like, this is broken. How much of that mindset?
A great deal. A great deal of every single time I work with anyone is mindset. I say I cannot change the way anyone sounds unless I can change their physiology and their mindset. That it's futile for me to work with any singer or any actor who wants to speak better. I don't only just teach singers, I teach lots and lots of famous actors as well that are preparing a role and there's character sounds in the role, they want a particular sound. So unless I can get their mindset in the right place, I can't even change anyone's voice. People think they were born with a voice. They were born with an instrument. And they open up their mouths and they talk to people and they think, well, they listen back on a recording and they think, ugh, that isn't me. Ugh, I thought the new iPhone had a really good mic. Ugh. Or, ugh, what? That's a terrible recording. What's the matter with this recording? I just heard myself. I don't sound that way because they don't know how they sound. Because the people that know how they sound are the people that listen back to recordings of themselves. Because sound, when you hear yourself, you're listening to bone conduction inside your soul. Your bones, your skull are vibrating. And you think, well, I've got a little vibration going on in here. But it has nothing to do with the sounds that come out. So people are born with an instrument that they have to learn how to use. And they don't know that they're not trapped with a voice that's currently coming out of their mouths. So if you sound airy, it's because you imitated airy voices. Your mom said, Roger, you're so cuter than your brother. And then as soon as I could speak, I'm like, you're right, mommy. And my dad said, I'm going fishing. And if I wanted to go fishing, I'm like, can I go fishing? And then suddenly you're an adult, you sound a little bit like your dad, your mom, all the people that were in your lives, and you think, hey, that's my voice. But it's not your voice, the voice you imitated. So I meet anyone at any point in their lives, and we say, is that voice working for you? Or is it not working for you? Is it working for you because the conversations you're having are creating relationships that you want and the life change in your personal and business success? Is it working? Or maybe we could tweak some of the sounds by finally giving you a manual. Oh, wait, you didn't get one, I didn't get one. So as I grew older, I kept figuring out I should just write manuals for the voice, for the speaking voice, for the singing voice. A big part of that is changing mindset and learning that you're not born with the voice that you don't like.
So let's change gears for a second, Roger. And last September, we launched our first collaboration, Voice Coaching Our Love. R stands for Roger. That's you.
I recognize it.
You should. And you should be smiling all the times around the world where people are waking up and beginning their day, like I did today, with Voice Coaching Our Love. What are we doing when we follow your guidance or Madison Amigo's guidance on the female version of voice coaching? What are we doing? And what's our expectation of how that should shift our life?
Amazing. What we're doing is we are controlling at our command how air comes into the body, then how air comes back out of the body.
Emma, this is the clean relief forecast.
And the lack of tension and straining and pressure that causes when you do it right. And then we're making our vocal cords go to a specific place where the air and the vocal cords meet to create a sound that then vibrates in all the right places in your body and then comes out of your mouth sounding amazing, beautiful, strong, confident, reliable. So in that process of breathing in and getting sound out, there's a lot going on in your body, in your brain. And it's a mixture of what goes on when you speak what goes on when you listen to music, what goes on when you sing. And all of that creates vibrations and frequencies inside your body that now you're in control over. And you're sending out these frequencies that now you're in control over. And now speaking or singing becomes a physical connection with the people that hear you. Sound rides out of my mouth, certain frequencies, certain vibrations, and it vibrates the bodies of those people that hear me. And now we are physically connected. And I'm using those vibrations, those sounds, those feelings, that air, to control my stress, to control my brain patterns, to control my confidence, to control the way I connect with people. So it's doing all of that just by warming up your voice.
But there's improvement in command too. I don't feel, first I want to do, I don't know what I felt. I didn't feel like, sometimes I feel like I leave myself. I lost command, I was trying to accomplish. Or my mind was working too fast, my voice wasn't catching up. But as you identify with me, it was a lot of chest voice, a lot of mentality, and not enough breath. When I finish the 15 minutes and 33 seconds of voice coaching with Roger, I feel amazing. There's no elevated much. I feel a higher level of consciousness, elevated into acuity and energy. I feel really good. Is that because I've oxygenated my prefrontal cortex, or what else is happening physiologically for me to do that and to feel so much better to start my day?
There's a lot of science and a lot of scientific studies that have proven that if you sang for 20 minutes a day, you could live as much as 8 years longer than anyone else. Studies like that. And that involves breathing, and that involves frequencies, and that involves the strength that you create in muscles, and that involves mindset. And so singing is incredibly healthy for the body. Well, I teach my speakers how to make the same sounds as I teach my singers. They have melody like a song. They have volume and volume changes like a song. They have control over the tone like a song. They are using their breath in solid stream of air just like a song. So my techniques have speakers doing the same things physically as singers do. So then I allow my students to have the same results. Release of oxytocin and other chemicals that literally change you from a depressed state to an elated state. There's so much science going on, but basically I'm taking all benefit from singing and putting it into the speaking voice so that you're healthier and you're happier. When I was a little kid, I didn't understand any science. I barely knew how to spell the word science. But I knew that when I was in bad mood, and if I sang, I'd get in a good mood really fast. And science has just layer upon layer supported everything that I knew intrinsically back then.
Oh, that's fascinating. Because if I'm in bad mood and I say to myself, sing, my inner voice says, shut the F up. You're not singing, you're dancing. So it's amazing that you did it once. How did you create that habit? How old did you think you were when you started that? That is really cool. And that shows a command, even over your emotional regulation at a young child.
I think when the doctor pulled me out of the womb and slapped my butt, I don't remember, but maybe they slapped my butt, I went, ah, and I think I had vibrato. I don't remember ever speaking. I only remember singing. So as early as I could sing, I realized there was magic to singing, and that I knew that voice was going to be the rest of my life. So I started playing instruments, I started singing, and it was all just music. And as a voice coach, I teach people that singing is the same thing now, and creates the same science, the same health, the same mindset, and it's all good.
Did your family support? You're saying I live in a neighborhood here in Tampa. We walk after every dinner, and there's a drum kit on the street. And I'm like, oh boy, he's pretty good, or she's pretty good, whoever's doing drumming. But did your parents support your singing?
Yes, my family was very humble origins, very lower middle class wage earners. My dad worked, my mom stayed home, took care of the kids, and when I was 13, my mom got another job just so I could have 2 voice lessons a week. So she went out of the house and just did a full-time job just so I could study voice. So she was very supportive, very supportive. And my mother played the piano, and some of my fondest memories when she was still alive and I was growing up is I'd come home from school and she'd play the piano and I'd sing. It was so bonding. It was a big part of our relationship. And so yes, they were supportive. And unfortunately, people are not always supportive of singers and people who even want to change their voice. For example, you're in high school, you're a senior in high school, and you've applied to all the colleges, right? And you applied Harvard and Yale and other second-level schools that were on your safety list, and all your friends did. And you get a letter, and it's from Harvard. And the last thing you're afraid of doing is going to school the next day telling all your friends that you got into Harvard because you work there and hate you now, and they're not going to be your friends. Well, the same thing happens when you change your voice. There was a mother who brought their 17-year-old son to me, and he stuttered. And I've been working to eliminate stuttering for years because I realized that when you stutter, you don't stutter when you sing. So I reverted engineered a singing solid airflow technique to fix stuttering. Anyway, she brought him in, and she said, my son's been stuttering his whole life, and we've been to doctors and therapists, and we've tried everything that we could do, speech pathologists and speech therapists. Nothing has worked. In 10 minutes, I had him speaking like an orator, like if he was Moses and walked in and would have let the Israelites go up his ass. It just sounded great, okay? And the mother's crying. The son is crying. I'm crying. I'm like, this is what I live for. I went home and told my wife, I'm a deity. I just experienced omnipotence. I'm amazing. I'm not a dog. I'm a god. You just had the word reversed. And then 2 weeks later, the mother calls me. And I'm like, how's he doing? And she said he went back to school the next day, and his voice sounded so amazing. And all his friends made fun of him. And they're like, what are you trying to sound like? Radio announcer? You're fake now. And then he went back stuttering. And the mother said, what am I going to do? And now she's crying. Again, another 27 years old, I can't force him to sound better. So people sometimes reject change. You have a soft-hearing voice, and all people in life think, well, I have a soft-hearing voice, so they're a perfect sound word for me to tell them all my problems. And so I was a good person, I tell them all my problems, and that person goes, oh, I'm sorry about that. And then I fix that person's voice because they sound soft and airy, and they're not achieving things they want in their lives and their communications. I make them sound amazing and strong and powerful. And they go back in conversation at Starbucks, and the person says, I'm telling you all sad things. And then they respond back, okay, great, well, let's talk about some good things too. And then they're like, what's the you? Who are you? Where's my sounding board? So if you sound different, people immediately think different bad. Different's amazing. Different's amazing. I like to wear dark colors. If I show up at work, at my studio, and I come in bright red, people are like, what are you, a billboard? Before they even decide whether I look good or not. So I'm all for changes and voice changing being a big part of that. And that change is great, especially if it's voice change.
A lot of psychology here. So I'm going to show you my kind of routine in the morning. A lot of it has to do with my commitment to change, and a lot of it has to do with my confidence in your help on our personal coaching, but also in these gifts on these branding programs we built. So I start my day. First we exercise in the shower, I get into my office, and I listen to Triumphant first. And it's 12, 13 minutes, like an ode to Beethoven and Bach. It's amazing, and I'm flip tapping. It's just elevating my mood as opposed to my amygdala to start my day in a worry about. Then I put on voice coaching with Roddy Buff. And I'm in here, my kids have kind of say, I think the neighbors can hear you, so let them. Good. And then now I do rockstar mindset. What would you like for our new calm tribe to do? Like, would you like us to use this every morning? Would you like us to switch it up and do rockstar mindset and do voice coaching? What would be the pattern that you recommend for people? And how consistent should people be to really feel that significant shift?
Amazing. I would like to learn voices every day that I speak. Every day that
Everyone in the company has an opportunity to financially benefit from the work of everybody, which is beautiful, which is unbelievable. So even if you don't have someone in another country, so having a global product is huge. Now, the challenge with having a global company is this.
7 customers, 30%. And folks, this isn't just on 7, this is on all of them. 14 customers, 40%, and then 21 plus, 50%. If you can't gather 21 folks anywhere in all the countries you are in the world that want to sleep better, feel better, exercise better, at the touch of a button, change the way they feel, something's wrong, okay? But we've got another program here that will help you earn money even quicker. If you're buying the annual subscription of Newcom, right, it will not only qualify you for all of your pay for 1 year, but it also makes the pay scale easier. So when you gather 1 person, and it doesn't matter whether they're doing monthly or annually, you're going to get paid 10% of the commission volume when they reorder. If you gather 3, now it jumps to 25%. Now when you gather 3, by the way, it makes you a manager 3. It doesn't matter which scale you're working on. When you get 3, you become a manager 3, and you get a $50 bonus, right? That's exciting. I used to think, well, that's not a big deal. Then I heard a mom say, are you kidding me? That's Viber money. That's a big deal. But if you continue on and you gather 7 customers that are using Newcom, you'll not only become a manager 7, doesn't matter which scale you're working on, you'll become a manager 7. Besides all the other commissions, you'll get a $200 bonus. What I'm excited about is that the way that works is when you become a manager 7, depending on whether those people are buying it monthly or buying it annually, you're going to get somewhere between $325 and $950 the following week. Folks, what I'm excited about is we've had a lady do this in an hour. In an hour to put in 7 folks, right? It's pretty crazy what's going on. All right, so now let me spend a few more minutes and get to the real power of the plan. That was you doing the work, you gathering the customers. But as the people that you put in start gathering folks, you're going to get paid off all that too. You're going to get paid off the efforts of others. Now, I know I just showed you gather 3, gather 7, gather 21. Let's just talk about gathering 3. When you gather 3, it makes you a manager 3. So your first goal should be become a manager 3. When you do that, you're now going to have 3 people on your team. Besides all the other pay I just showed you, you're going to get an additional, simultaneously at the same time, 2% on all the commission volume these 3 people generate. But what will those people want to do now? They're going to want to become manager 3s. Well, if they do that, that's automatically going to put 9 people on your team, 9 additional ones. But look at this. You're going to get a pay raise. You're going to earn 3% of all the commissions they generate. And then what should those 9 people want to do? They should want to be manager 3s. You can make a lot of money as a manager 3. I'm going to show you that right now. And it's the simplest qualification I think I've ever seen in our industry in 41 years. If they become manager 3s, now you've got 27 new people on your team, and you get another pay raise, right? And then what should those folks want to do? Become manager 3s. I hope you're catching this, everybody. This is everybody just doing a little bit of work, and folks can make a lot of money off that happening, right? If they become manager 3s, now you've got 81 new folks, and you get another pay raise. If they become manager 3s, it would put 243 new people on your team, another pay raise. If they become a manager 3, we're not going to do this much longer, but I just think this is the power of this. Everybody doing a little bit. Well, then you have over 700 folks that join your team, and really, it's just 243 getting 3 each. Nobody has to gather more than 3. Well, if they become manager 3s, now you have a whopping 2,187 new folks on your team. But look at this. You get another pay raise. So think about this, everybody. Where would you rather get paid the biggest percentage of the commissions? Where you've got 3 people generating commissions, or where you have 2,187? Of course, where you have thousands of people. That's exactly the way this works. Look at this as your retirement plan. But instead of retiring in 40 years on half of what you could live on in the first place, how about retiring in 7 weeks, 7 months, 7 years, whatever it's going to be, right? Folks, if you did this and became a manager 3 and taught others to do the same, and this happened, guess what? Even if those 2,187 don't become manager 3s, so they don't have to do anything. Let's pretend they don't know anybody anywhere in the world that have a cell phone and want to make their brain proper at the highest, function at the highest level. They can. Let's say that doesn't happen. Folks, look at this. If all these people are just buying it monthly, they're not even buying it annually, you earn over $6,000 a month of residual income. But what if they buy it annually? A lot of people love the annual savings, right? Well, then you'd be making over $57,000 a year. And you know my favorite part about this? Nobody has to be more than a manager 3. I've never seen a company with this simple of a qualification where you can earn this kind of money. Folks, what if they go for manager 7? Then it gets even crazier, right? So you might say, this all looks good, sounds good, but come on, this almost looks too good to be true. Folks, let me show you why this can happen, and why this should happen, and how we're making this happen. How does everyone do this? It's this simple. They give away free 7-day trials of Newcom to everyone they know, and everyone they've ever met, and everyone everywhere that they come in contact with, and people fall in love with it. It's kind of a 95% high satisfaction rate. It's incredible how much people love it. And since everybody gets to try it for free, the worst thing that happens is they don't even get charged. They just try it and they go, it's not for me. But I gotta tell you, most people don't say that. So with that being said, these are the countries and territories that you can offer a free 7-day trial of Newcom. Folks, it's literally all over the world. All right, this is very exciting, and financially, there's a lot more money to be made here than I shared with you, but that's enough for you to go, hey, there's something wildly good going on here. So I just want to end with this note. What are some of the biggest expenses that families have, people have, and the most important purchases? Most people, they yell out, it's my house. I've done this in front of audiences all over. And they always say, my house is my biggest most important purchase. And the average house payment in America is over $2,000 a month. And then when I say, what's your next biggest purchase? They always yell out the car. And the average house payment, the car payment, in America is $735, folks. You don't get that kind of car for that little of a house payment. But I always like to tell people, this is not your most important biggest purchase. It's actually your health. Because if you lose your health, you're not going to care about your house or your car. And the neat part about this is, your health can cost a lot less. I highly recommend you get Newcom, $42.49 a month, and see how that impacts your health, right? Way less expensive than your house or your car, and your health is more important. How do I know that? Because if you don't take care of your body, the question you need to ask yourself is, where will you live? Most people think they live in their house. Folks, it's not true. If God forbid your house burns down and something happens, you can find another house or live with a friend or family member or whatever, but you can't buy another body if something happens to your body. So what am I saying? The money's exciting and money's important. And if you're worried about your bills, it's a proven fact it can make you physically ill, but the most important thing here is you have to take care of the own body that you have. That's where Newcom comes in. So everybody, I highly recommend that you start your journey. It's as simple as getting your free 7-day trial of Newcom. And I want you to know your credit card will not be charged until the 8th day. So go into this with total optimism, total excitement that everything is about to change. The $42.49 per month program is $1 something a day. How much would you pay just to sleep better, just to sleep through the night, not to have to get up and go to the restroom and to wake up refresh, let alone power nap, rescue, focus, and ignite, where you can literally be at the top of your game mentally and physically for exercise. Folks, this is a dream that has to come true for many people all over the world. I can't wait to see how this blesses you, just like so many others. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I'm excited to hear your Social X and Newcom story. Thank you, everybody. Talk to you soon.
I even went to the toilet and went back to bed and had no problem at all. Straight back to sleep. Beautiful, you know? Just fantastic.
Done across the years in cancer and multiple sclerosis and addiction and trauma and surgical procedures. Rescue is the key cornerstone in order to solve our problem. Rescue is the key for any athlete, any fan who's so excited, he's so amped up for the game, and then you win, you're amped up, you lose, you're so disappointed. Rescue is something you do after performance to recover. Reset my mind, reset my body, lower my stress response, raise my rest response. When I raise my rest response, I can be more patient, more present, more clear-headed, more focused, more energized, more calm. I'm not sabotaged by anxiety and fear and other people's concerns or worries. So rescue power that flow state part of the recovery elements. Then we have focus. Focus was just released in July 2022. It took us 7 years to create this. Focus oscillates your brain between 15 and 20 hertz. There's a specific frequency that correlates to high level.
Focus is really good, really relaxing, really calming, and you are focused. But you don't feel like you're being forced to be focused. You're just focused. I mean, you're so calm and relaxed. It's incredible. That's my experience.
Over clarity, concentration, comprehension, and that's 18.4 hertz. Your brain can only stay in a thinking process like this clear focus for 15 to 20 minutes. For about 15 to 20 minutes, you can be focused. Then notice your mind starts to distract, and maybe 2 minutes returns. From now in physics, we have a 47-minute full focus track with headphones on, and you are laser focused on what you have accomplished. Then you have night. Night is huge.
Ignite. Oh, what can I say about Ignite? I play intense, fast, really amazing games, just blazing away, you know. And usually I suck. Usually I die so many times that it's amazing to ever finish the game. I put Ignite on, and within a few minutes or seconds of being on, I'm blasting through. I'm blowing things up. I'm freaking. Everything is amazing. The things I used to find hard, I mean really hard, easy, no problem. The things that I was throwing bombs at this alien and never could even hit it. Ignite on. Oh, hit it right in the chest. It sat in the chest and then exploded. I mean, this thing changes the game so much. Even when you're out riding around or something or exercising, oh, it is incredible. I just cannot explain how good it is. You've got to try it. It's just like great.
Beneficial to professional athletes. For 6 years, we use this in confidence with 56 professional sports teams and across the department defense. We'll be putting this into the hands or into the heads of special forces, air force, special officers, command, etc. Ignite oscillates your brain, starting at 15 hertz in a 14-minute neuromuscular software journey, all the way to 40 hertz, where you're fully activated and ready to prepare for any performance. And you'll have an unstoppable feeling of absolute certainty. Let me repeat that: an unstoppable feeling of absolute certainty. You will achieve anything you set your mind to because there is no distraction. You are fully activated.
There's no distraction, that's for sure. I put it on repeat and leave it on repeat. And then when one gets a bit thingo, I change to another. I put it on unstoppable. And then when that gets a bit thingo, I change it to one of the other ones. There's 4 of them. But one of them is Tony Robbins speaking. Really encouraging, really building you up, right? So the other 3, 2 of them that are fantastic. I find them great. There's one that's a little bit like relaxing or something. I don't find it that good, but But I advise you to get the $42 one, not the cheap ones. Right? Because cheap ones are good. You can't make any money. And if you're spending money, why not make money as well? You know? Why spend the money to buy it and not make any money from it? You know? It's an easy system. There's nothing to it. Very easy system. Yeah, it's an extremely easy system. So all you have to do is talk to 3 people, and then talk with 3 people. And then you can start it. And what's even better than that is that all the money goes to a bank account system that has nothing to do with your normal bank. Right? So you can start there. You can make millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands, or whatever, from income. It goes into an account where your bank doesn't know it's there.